Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. 6:41 a.m., final day of May. I'm a little late, a little bit long on the nap this afternoon, and I apologize for getting the email out a little bit later, but here we are. We are looking at the futures, and the Dow down 61, the NASDAQ down 36. The ES is down 11, and the Russell is down 6. Now, yesterday we got a little bit overbought and we still trolled sideways. As of right now, sorry. We got a little bit oversold as we went into that low during the day when we broke below 4,200 on the SPX. We're not confidently oversold, but we're definitely not overbought. And this is the end of the month, which I'll bring you to in a minute. Uh, and what I will start you with here is going back. Uh, Again, horrific 38.92 point range, 39 points. You owe 39 push ups today. 39 push ups, lazy bastards. Closed below the open, but again, that stat continued to hold. Gap up above 20 points, gonna close green. Closed up 7 cents. 7 cents on the day. And that 7 cents on the day fucked me up, because we closed here at 42.0552. Yesterday, I started out in the morning with, I started out the weekend, started on Monday when we were closed. Safest risk trade, 42.30, 42.25 calls, $2.75 credit. The two green back-to-back closes risk, 42.10 calls, 42.05, $4. These went higher than $4 at the opening bell. And because we closed at 42.05.52, wrong one, these were only 348%. They didn't produce the 400% full credit that they should have had we closed below 42.05. So that 52 cents had to come out of the $4, and it wound up closing up 348%. Son of a bitch. Oh, anyway, going back through it all, again, showing that we've filled that 42.28 gap over there on the SPX. Threw out another trade there right at the open. The safest plus 1% level that I could find, 42.55, 42.50s. They were getting 80 cents. Quite obvious. Those closed out at zero, expired, full credit. And we went on down to the rest of the day as we went through everything going worthless. Now, as I sent out there at 2 o'clock, the SPX reminder, if we close above 42.05.45, that would be 3 green closes in a row. So you had your here, 1, 2, 3, 3 green closes in a row. So the trade to play would be overnight. Again, 348, I'm looking as close as I can to where we're already at. So I said the 42.20, 42.15 calls. If we close below 40.20, 42.05, don't do it. We closed above it, green close, good to go. I see 7 claps, so obviously 7 or more got into the trade. Overnight, we're down here at 41.96. Later on, overnight, we're down at 41.88, and you've got your trades out there for today. The overnight 42.20, 42.15 calls, they're already down $1.50. So you're literally collecting money while you're sleeping without having to do anything but just study your data. And people that have jobs, people that have lives that aren't involved with sitting in a chair all day long, these are the kind of things that you look for. And these are the kind of things that you use me for the same price that you can get a Filipino construction worker to work for an entire month, $197 a month. So here we are, and we're in the exact same place that we were. And going through yesterday's email, how we were stupid overbought, going through with the back-to-back closes, we now have a gap above because we had that move to the downside and overnight. And going over here onto the indexes, we are not oversold. We're not oversold as of we closed on Friday or Monday, Tuesday. Jesus fucking Christ. We are not oversold on our minimum level, the 1 hour. We have some very confirmed moves to the downside on the RSI, but again, a friendly reminder, the Dow and the Russell are negative on the year, and everything is still piled up into these 7 AI stocks, which are doing all the work. Now, I found something yesterday which I found very helpful. And that helpful is this over here at Slick Charts. It's the S&P 500 performance, and it gives you the percentage return that everything is up year to date, meaning from the very beginning of the year, not from the lows of the year. And I found it very interesting when I found Royal Caribbean on there. So I've shared Royal Caribbean over there with Barbara because I know that Barbara is a very avid trader and likes to trade a lot of these things. So I will remove this and stop wasting your time because I know you got better things to do, like find out how many home runs the Yankees hit last night. We are going into the last day of the month. Now, the May candle, the month of May over on the SPX is right here at 4166.79. Now we know we have our major 4155, but we are going here at 4166.79 is the monthly candle for the month of May. Show you why it matters, and this is why it matters is because for the month of May, closing above 4166.79 would give us a third consecutive green month. First time that we had back to back was going into last month, going into April, or going into this month of May. Now we would have 3 green back to back months. But I want you to see, just to recognize, obviously with March 3808, and here we are up at 4231. 400 points is fuck all range. Now we've really gone nowhere for months on end, and just happened to break above that big 4136 pivot as we started throwing this AI shit. Take the AI shit, and 4136 is like 100 points above where resistance is, and it's going, can you guys come up here? Can you come up this way, and hit me? I'm bored. I miss you guys. We'd be down in the 3900s without all of this fake AI shit, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. Market does what the market does, but I am making it a very specific point to start really zooming yourself out a little bit and paying attention to the fact that this AI stuff is a bunch of fucking bullshit. So, 354, high that we got over here on QQQ, did not fill the gap from the weekend. We missed it by 13 cents. We still have that gap from the weekend. It's very clear as of what we're doing right now. I believe I do have it on. I've still not filled this gap overnight. And again, that big gap from last week on Thursday going into the Friday session, all the way down here at 336. For the month on QQQ, you can forget about it. This thing's up 8.66%. There is absolutely no way in hell it's going negative on the month. It ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. However, that gap down at 336 later in the week, the lows from last week at 329.56, those are your short-term goals. That was the reason why I was pointing out about that 340 put, looking at the different dates. Obviously, June 2 being a little bit too aggressive, but looking out there at June 9th, June 16th, June 23, and even June 30. June 30 being the very obvious one. Elongate even shared that he got into a position on that. So that's what you got. So here we go. We're into the final day of May. I will leave you with one last thing as we have NVIDIA over here floating well above its earnings gap, which it is not going to fill until there's somebody that comes out with something major other than a fake debt ceiling, which they vote on today, by the way. The month end. The month end of April, plus 34 points after a gap down. The month end for May, plus 58 points after a fractional gap up. But if you remember, May 29, or what was it? Yeah, May 28, May 29, May 30, gap up, gap up, gap up. We were having those big gap ups overnight, 28 points, 19 points, and then we had that little gap up back to that 4110, where at the time, 4100 had been a pretty good resistance area. Come back over here into the end of February. Gap down, very, very small range on the day, only a 12-point red, down 2.45% for the month. January, big green close at the end of the month, up 58 points. Going to December, the last day of the year, took a little bit of profits there at the end of the year, 9.7 point, 10 points down on the day. And November, the last day of the month in November, the day prior to hitting 4100 over there on December 1st, gap down half a point, finished up 122 points that day, and that day was November 30. GDP and Jerome Powell speaking. So this is where we're at. This is where we're going. Have a great Wednesday, and I will see you in the chat room.